Hello everyone. I wanted to talk about something that I think is important for the Honkai Star Rail community to consider simply because it involves some of the most annoying people in the community. You know who, the headcanon idiots who force their headcanons onto others, as well as the fools who defend them. I'm sure there's more idiots out there, but these are the most recent ones we can talk about and that I wanted to bring up. One of the first things that I believe is the cause of this is that there is a lack of Genshin content. Most notably from 4.3 to 4.6, which gave the Genshin refugees more time to mess with that actually good game. Before I say anything, I do want to make it clear that I like Genshin, but I'm not crazy about it. I know it's bad, and it needs a ton of work, and I'm not really optimistic about it either. It's probably going to stay bad for a long time, if not forever. Still, I like that I just need to log in once a day and play for 15 minutes to do everything. The combat is mid, but the characters are cool. I'm more of a Ganyu guy myself, and I totally love that she's a sub DPS. Definitely. I don't like to explore anymore, but that's a me problem if anything. And relic farming is annoying, but I don't really care about the stats anymore. I'm over it. It's just not worth it. I just enjoy the game as it is, and I don't expect anything out of it. Moving on, let's face it. Most Genshin casuals aren't that bad. Probably a bit biased towards that, but still, the Genshin fandom is one of the worst ones out there, especially on Twitter. They are vocal, annoying, and crazy as hell. They got people who called a fake bomb threat at an event, as well as having a history of sending death threats to voice actors, who can't even control how good their character turns out. They review bombed Google Classroom, which was kinda funny, but honestly unnecessary when all they had to do was review bomb their actual game. They got Hoyo shills who do nothing but defend the the multi-billion-dollar company that certainly cannot defend itself or spare any money towards paying its creators well. There's no denying how bad the Genshin Impact community can be, but you may be wondering, how does this relate to HSR? It's no surprise that when HSR launched, the Genshin slaves thought it'd die out just because it's a turn-based strategy game, despite how popular the genre is. It's not their fault for thinking this. Genshin made them lose basic critical thinking skills, but it's okay. At least they gave us a good laugh. Still, now that HSR is certainly not dead, there's definitely more of them that swapped over to HSR, which gave them a new place to infect. They want to bring over their old habits that no one called them out on to this new community. They also get defensive when they are called out on it, saying it's toxic or unfair. They'll also go to echo chambers, or safe spaces as they call it, all to justify their problematic behavior. For me, I just choose to ignore them or to laugh at them, but I get that this could lead to problems in the future. That's probably part of the reason why the Genshin fandom turned out the way it did. But we can't just blame it all on Genshin. HSR is now a big deal in the gacha space, and with that comes a big fanbase, attracting all kinds of weirdos. Once something becomes big, its fanbase starts to get worse. Just look at the My Hero fandom. It was fine in the beginning, but now you can't even say you watch it without getting some side eye. I also want to bring up the fact that there's definitely some players out there who get into the game because they heard it hyped so much that they believe that it is the end all be all of gacha games. Don't get me wrong. I love this game. It's my favorite gacha game, and it's definitely my top 5 favorites of all time. But there's definitely some stuff that holds it back and can be improved. Basically, it's not a game for everyone, and there's going to be people who got it overhyped and were disappointed that ended up developing hatred for it. Thankfully, most of these idiots stay in Reddit, maybe some on Twitter, which makes it easy to disregard their opinion, but them keeping their echo chamber is just part of the problem. Lastly, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The fact that Tectone vs Atsu happened, and Atsu was wiped off the face of the earth by the bald man's blast. Atsu was a huge influence on the community, and the void he left behind is just as big. Not just for content creators, but for the fools who wanted to say their truth and leave the multi-billion-dollar company alone. This made it harder for them to rally behind a figurehead and say what they really want to say with impunity. Love him or hate him, Tectone is a big part of the community and is the face of the non-panderers. So big that the haters also rally to him to hate on him. The hate watchers gotta be his biggest fans. This puts on a weird dynamic where no matter where the drama happens, he will be there and so will the haters. This is actually kind of a good thing, since we get to know when the haters come and we get to laugh at them. Still, I think that the community is gonna get worse before it gets better. I don't want the community to be known as the Genshin fandom 2.0, and I think there's a lot of people who feel the same way. Other than calling out the behavior, I don't think there's much else to do. Still, I hope that I'm misreading everything and that the community doesn't go downhill. Tell me in the comments if you agree or just think that there's nothing to worry about, and let me know what kind of video you want to see next. Later.